Greetings and what a beautiful day. Just watched, listened to a wonderful video from the Energy Flow family, Claire and Stephen, who have been on this channel and are very much a part of this channel. Currently, as we speak, the Energy Flow is going international as they're heading. Last spoke to them, as it were, they're in Pisa, in Italy, heading off to Malta, following their dream, following their path, and I don't blame them. If I was them, I'd do the same. Then I listened to Julia, Simplicity Revealed channel, make some very good points about meditation and things. Just before I made this video, a song came into my head. Now it's a Pink Floyd one, and I can't remember which album it's from, or even the track, but you can hear the voice saying, "I know that I'm mad, I've always been mad, I've been mad for fucking years." Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with being mad. It's just perspective. Because mad is insane, and where does it all happen? Find the sanity within. And mad, what is mad? Well, the easy answer to that is, what's the channel called? Oh dear, terrible. Oh dear. It's gone, sorry, but it's Mystically Adept Deity. I'll put a link into one of his videos because he's sort of Neville Goddard reincarnate, or Abdullah reincarnate, giving out the same message and interpretation of things. This is the trouble with a lot of things. The words become labels, like mad and insane, and thrown in a negative polarity, almost as an insult, when it can actually mean the complete opposite. So let's give you another one, another word that is often used, particularly in the esoteric, the spiritual, the soul-searching perspectives, and that is the word surrender. Now obviously, if you look at the external, surrender in a battle sense is a losing side, and they surrender, come out with their arms up. It's also a physical action, which is also a clue, because there is a surrender. So I'm going to take a biblical story, and that is of the Christ being appearing on the shore. And he says to the disciples who don't recognize him, he says, "Cast your nets on the other side," which I talked about in the last video. But let's look at the shore. You're on solid ground. You're speaking from a position of a solid base when you say cast your nets on the other side. So this word surrender, how sure are you about what that word means? I'm dropping a big hint if you visualize the spelling of that word. A surrender is letting go of the things you don't need. You become a killer. What's the words I'm looking for here? multiple murders, you could say. Now, it's not in the external. This is all within. So you're killing off and you're surrendering all those negative things that would take over and react to the external from what you see. So a surrender is a sure ender. You are from a position of that shore, you are on solid ground. What is it that is speaking? It is your gut feeling, the solar plexus, the third chakra from the root, sacred, and then the solar plexus, the place of the sun, the house of bread, i.e. the stomach in the physical realm. It is right there. It is described as gut feeling, as instinct. That inner knowing, that is that Christ consciousness within you that is trying to communicate, that is shining a light for you to find within yourself. And it is an end, and whatever it is, and you can see this in this realm, whether it be an end of a friendship, an end of a relationship, an end of a life of a friend or a relative or a pet. There's an end, which implies there is also a beginning. So a surrender is a close of a chapter in your life, in this experience from birth to death. It's a sure ending. And this is the thing with manifesting. Julia touched on this about whether you be specific, whether you keep it vague. And how do you go about meditation? How do you start these things? Free-flowing and fluid. Have a look at various techniques. There's many commentators. There are many channels that will say, try this, try that. Some 5 minutes, some 45 minutes. If you were to do the whole lot as like a preparation, you'd probably spend 8 hours of preparing. So go with whichever fits you. What feels right to you? Regardless of what anybody else says. But with meditation techniques and things, try different ones, experiment. It's, as I've said, this is a diagnostic zone in which to experiment, to try things out. They don't have to be all evil acts, do they? They can be things that benefit you, and by extension from what you radiate out, things that help others. But before you can even begin that, you have to be on that solid foundation, metaphysically speaking. To be sure of where you're coming from, to be sure of what you have ended, so you can speak from the experience of, yes, I know what anger is, I know what hurt is, I know what happiness is, but the ones that don't suit you, that make you feel sad and pull you down into a negative, unhappy state, where you sort of shut down and go within yourself. There's the ending. But it's an end of a chapter of an ongoing story. The Akashic record is a living record. You are one of those books, if you want to see them as books. And within those books, within the contents of those covers, which is the human vessel, is a story with chapters in it. You've also got guidebooks like the Bible, if you can read it in the right way and see that it is an inward story and you go through playing all the parts. If you choose to, of course. But like everything, it's got labels, therefore it has attachments and it loses meaning, and it's very difficult unless you someone explains to it, and I would recommend listening to Neville Goddard to understand scriptures and how they apply to you, because this is where we all need to start, from within ourselves. That is your foundation. Because if you are not feeling right inside yourself, the energy that you project out is not going to be right either. There's a big difference between keeping it fluid and vague, in the sense that you may actually be putting out something you're feeling which is sadness or even grieving or something. You may even be projecting that out. And would you really want to inflict that feeling on anybody else, or would you want them to feel that way? I would say probably not. More likely you want to impart happiness and joy and a feeling of elation and that sort of uplifting. It could be just with a smile, it could be with laughter. So that is what it's talking about in the Bible, about the Christ being, that in essence that's guiding you from the gut feeling, is from a sure place and guiding you to say, cast the nets on the other side. Go within oneself. You're moving across to that position of neutral, communicating with the subconscious. As I said yesterday, the eyes work both ways. So when it's talked about removing the rods from your eyes, think of like multi-strand cable where it's cut off, you can see all the strands. That's the iris. There's an electromagnetic connection between how you feel inside you, what comes from the heart or from the mind, depending on where your perspective is and how you feel, where your moral compass is, for example. And that will project out. It will take in from what you see around and how you feel about what you see around, and then what you project out. So you can transmute these things that you're taking in, and if you want to pull something apart and do something scientific, well, pull apart and analyze those feelings. Why has that made me feel this way? Why has that triggered this emotion in me? It's not about killing these things off and having no emotions. You're going to have sensations of anger, you're going to have sensations of rage, you're going to have sensations of sadness. It would be stupid to deny those. You would be less than human to deny those, because we are being human. We're having this experience from birth to death. So we go through these experiences, and it is these experiences, when these physical vessels expire, that's your living Akashic record you take. You think of yourself like as a sort of spiritual CD that then goes into a central computer, to source as it were, and you upload all your experiences to this collective creative force. And that will also have a consequence in where do you go from here, beyond this life. But also, I'd like to think that, and I feel that the experiences we gain all lead somewhere, and providing we can sort of look at these things from both sides, it's like, okay, this has happened to me, it was bad. Okay, what lesson is there in that for me? Where are the positives in it? The whole experience can be even about when you're faced with a very similar experience, you're then in a better position to not react and to respond from the heart. Well, we've gone up to 15 minutes. I wanted to keep this shorter than the one that was 33 minutes yesterday, which we've halved it. So, I surrender. Claire did a beautiful one actually in a, I think it was one of the moon meditations we did with the drumming session. And it's about, you're walking up a mountain and you've got these cases with all the things that you don't need to carry anymore, like anger and whatever of things that have happened years and years ago. Why are you still carrying that around? Being peer reviewed and told you're stupid or you're not good enough. Those are the things you put down. Those are the things you surrender. Look at the natural world. Sorry, this is going on a little bit longer, but I feel this is important to say. Look at the natural world. When a tree dies, which would represent our outer body, and it falls to the ground, it starts to decay. It is taken down into Mother Earth. So let go of all those, surrender those things to Mother Earth. Maybe write them out on a bit of paper and burn them and send them out into the universe as well. You don't need them. The universe and Mother Earth will respond accordingly, and okay, you don't want that, we'll give you something better. Because it is all giving, it is all loving. It's often talked about as and seeing God as some patriarch and sitting on a throne in the sky, but then this same God created everything, so that would imply Earth as well. So it's everything and nothing anyway. It's in everything and it is nowhere to be seen. So wherever you transmute it, when you let go of it, when you surrender it, just like the physical tree will break down, it will also go on to give life to insects and things. So those things you let go will also be transmuted and turned into something good. This is the beauty of this realm. It does show us all the answers. It's just about being the observer. This is why I use these analogies and try and bring in everyday things that we all see and we all hear and we all say. Like, it feels like the world's ended, or it feels like the world's about to end. Well, again, that's a surrender. And that's one to let go of, because it's not ended. Unless you think this is all futile and pointless and, well, me personally, I feel there is beauty and wonder, and we're here to have an experience, so let's make it a beautiful experience and share that around in the hope that others will find that they have that same gift, that same power within themselves to find and letting go of all those negative things that are holding you back, most of which are things you either hold on to or you create in feeling and you create in your mind that don't serve you and keep you in this recurring cycle. It's all about breaking those cycles, and so the surrender is leading to something new, and that's it. We've gone on for nearly 19 minutes now, so it's a 4-minute extension. But I feel it's an important message and to share with you, and hopefully that's made sense of more of these labels that we're told is one thing when there's a secondary, more positive meaning that actually benefits us more. Love to you all, and ta-ta for now.